They deliver our mail, maintain our precious resources, and rescue victims of fire, crime, and natural disasters. They ensure the reliability of roadways and bridges and watch over the safety of all who travel the airways. They are the many federal employees who give to the community not only through their jobs, but with contributions to the charities of the combined federal campaign. We'd like to thank them all for their generosity and for the support they provide to the communities they serve.
Celebrate the magic of the holidays when one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time returns to television.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye team up for music, romance, and holiday cheer.
Merry Christmas!
In the Irving Berlin masterpiece, White Christmas.
Bring in the holidays with a classic, White Christmas, Sunday night at 5 on KPTV 12.
The holiday season is a great time to help out our less fortunate neighbors. In keeping with this spirit, Dominos Pizza is teaming up with other local businesses to collect food for the needy through the Portland Police Bureau's Sunshine Division. With your next Domino's Pizza delivery, the driver will be happy to collect your canned food donation. This year's efforts by Domino's Pizza and you will go a long way in feeding the needy families in our community. Please help the Sunshine Division feed the less fortunate Portland families who might otherwise do without this holiday season. The Sunshine Division thanks the following businesses for their support.
Won't you take a little time today to cherish the beauty of our land and help preserve it for tomorrow?
KPTV and our Celebrate America sponsors urge you to make protecting our environment a personal goal.
What kind of problems does a singer and model end up with when he creates his own line of men's skincare products? Jeff Thompson explains on Northwest Reports Tuesday at 9 on KPTV 12.
Join me, Robin Leach, for The Royal Family in Crisis.
Even the Queen can't solve this one.
The Royal Family in Crisis, Monday night at 8 on KPTV 12.
Two people are dead tonight in a plane crash near Wilsonville. The calls for Senator Packwood's resignation continue, the latest in the Sunday issue of the Oregonian. And Governor Bill Clinton resigns to devote full time to his new job. Good evening, I'm Jim Hyde reporting with Phil Cassidy, meteorologist George Steffen. Two people are dead after their small plane crashed in a pasture near Wilsonville. Witnesses said the twin-engine Cessna sounded like it was operating normally, but then came into view only 100 feet off the ground. It clipped the tops of some trees, turned upside down, and smashed into the ground near Southwest Gage and Newland Roads. Investigators say one occupant of the plane was thrown about 200 feet. An aircraft engine landed in a nearby barn.
The plane was flying upside down at probably 75 to 100 feet off the ground. And then the nose dove straight into the ground and exploded, and there was quite a fireball and quite a fire trail from it.
Witnesses said the plane was traveling north. Officers have identified the victims as Arthur Bryant Higgins of West Lynn, the pilot, and Robert Kim Burnett of Molalla, his passenger. The editorial headline in tomorrow's Oregonian reads, "Packwood should resign." Beyond the bold-faced print, the editorial says the bond between Packwood and Oregonians has, quote, snapped. It suggests that the junior senator from Oregon resigned to deal with his personal problems privately. More than a dozen women have accused Senator Packwood of sexual harassment going back more than 2 decades. In another article, the Oregonian alleges that it was Packwood himself who ordered a smear campaign against his accusers. Just last month, the newspaper endorsed Senator Packwood in his re-election bid. The 10 o'clock news asked members of Oregon's congressional delegation whether Packwood should resign.
I think the question now is whether or not there are going to be consequences, and clearly taking responsibility also means accepting consequences.
Do you think he should resign? A lot of people were not satisfied with the press conference the other day.
No, I wouldn't speculate on what he should do. I think we have to understand there is due process.
Senator Hatfield is referring to the Senate Ethics Commission, which will investigate Packwood. Hatfield himself has been the target of a Senate investigation concerning his financial dealings. Two men are dead in Grants Pass after a shooting outside a bar. Police in Grants Pass say one man shot his ex-girlfriend's companion and shot himself in the head last night. Investigators identified the gunman as 38-year-old James Monroy. They say he fired several shots into the white sports car driven by 46-year-old Frank Earl Wells. Officers say the woman had lived with Monroy for several years until joining Wells this summer. An apparent gang-related shooting in North Portland has wounded a 17-year-old in the back. Police say the victim and a friend encountered several rival gang members while walking on North Borthwick Avenue late this afternoon. They fled, but a gunshot struck 17-year-old Anthony Wiggins in the back. He's been treated and released. Police are questioning 7 suspects. Officers say the attack may be in retaliation for a shooting last month. A rash of recent armed robberies in Northeast Portland has police looking for at least 4 black men, all about 20 years of age. Some or all of them are suspected of robbing at least 4 businesses. The armed robbery started in late September. The most recent took place on Tuesday. Portland police say the suspects pose as customers before threatening clerks or store owners with their guns. In one robbery, one victim was shot in the stomach. Suspects have taken cash, wallets, and other valuables. Detectives in Clackamas County think they have the man responsible for a series of rapes in the Lake Grove area over the past 2 years. They arrested 25-year-old Daniel Thomas Purcell Friday for an attempted rape near Lake Grove. Today, they charged Purcell with 22 additional crimes, including 4 counts of rape, sodomy, and kidnapping.
America's best-selling luxury automobile, the Cadillac Sedan DeVille, is affordable. Out of the blue comes this low smart lease at $499 a month for only 24 months and only $1,500 down. And that includes these unprecedented and exclusive Cadillac owner privileges. Yes, a new Cadillac is affordable at these Gold Key Cadillac dealerships. Cooney Cadillac Beaverton, Vic Alfonso Portland, Bud Clary Longview, Larson Cadillac McMinnville, Lovell Cadillac Astoria, Gold Cadillac Newport.
Hordes of journalists accompanied a group of Marines today in Somalia as they crossed Mogadishu's Green Line to deliver some 20 tons of relief supplies. But some relief workers called the mission less than symbolic. They're urging the Marines to move quickly into southern Somalia, where millions are starving and bandits are reportedly in a looting frenzy. Brent Sadler reports that 1st Marines are determined to secure the capital, where today U.S. forces came under fire.
Ever since U.S. forces landed in Mogadishu, helicopter gunships have been flying low-level reconnaissance. Today was no exception. It was on one of their routine missions that 2 AH-1 Cobra attack helicopters from the USS Tripoli were shot at from inside the city by an unknown group of well-armed gunmen.
They were fired upon by an M113 armored personnel carrier with a 50 caliber machine gun. They immediately returned fire with TOW anti-tank missiles and 20 millimeter cannons, and they destroyed that vehicle and 2 vehicles that accompanied it.
It's not known how many Somalis were killed, because when TOW missiles hit their targets, nothing is left. US officials say that uncontrolled gunmen have been shooting at helicopters and that the Cobra retaliation meant that they'd learned the hard way. Earlier, another US reconnaissance aircraft flying at less than 150 feet was hit by rifle fire. The gunner said he did not shoot back because there were too many unarmed civilians in the area. This gunship was hit twice. One bullet glanced a section of the rotor, and a second round penetrated the other half of the blade, but the pilot managed to land safely. Somali radio reported that the attacks on helicopters was the work of uncontrollables trying to wreck a new peace accord. Low-level missions over the city will continue. Brent Sadler, CNN, Mogadishu.
The missing pieces of Bill Clinton's administration are falling into place. The president-elect today named Democratic Party Chairman Ron Brown as Commerce Secretary. He also tapped longtime friend Thomas Mack McClarty as White House Chief of Staff. McClarty is an Arkansas businessman and a former state legislator. Brown becomes the first black member of Clinton's cabinet. The president-elect says commerce now has a powerhouse.
With Ron Brown as Secretary of Commerce, American business will know that the Department of Commerce has a strong and independent leader and a forceful advocate. And our global competitors will know that we are ready to compete and win.
Clinton resigned as Arkansas governor today. He called his 12 years in office an affair of the heart. Lieutenant Governor Jim Guy Tucker was later sworn in. Across the Northwest today, there were protests over Alaska's plans to kill hundreds of gray wolves. Alaska officials say the aerial kill is necessary to help increase populations of elk and caribou. And clearly not everyone agrees, including these demonstrators at Portland's Saturday Market who want to see the wild wolves live on.
The size of the wolf population is stable or declining, so and the moose and caribou populations are growing. So how can they say that they need to take out the predators? It doesn't make any sense.
Oregon Congressman Peter DeFazio says he will introduce legislation to stop the helicopter wolf hunt. About 150 people today joined the protest in Eugene. They pledged to boycott Alaska until the wolf shooting is abolished. Portland's Kelly Point Park should look a lot greener in the future. The first of 2,000 seedlings were planted this morning. These are cottonwoods you see here. Volunteers will eventually plant 3 acres of the park. The trees will fill in areas previously cut and will hopefully discourage illegal dumping that now goes on at Kelly Point. It's a project of the Parks Department and a group called Friends of Trees. George Stephan will join us with the weather in just a moment.
At Washington Square, it's the season of magic and whimsy, where wishes come true and sharing comes from the heart. The place to select from the most unusual gifts for the most extraordinary of friends, with special hours to orchestrate your holiday schedule.
A symphony of giving at Washington Square.
George, we had kind of a rough weather weekend last time we talked.
Saturday night.
This week it's over on the East Coast, huh?
It is, and much quieter here in the Pacific Northwest, which is just fine by me, and I'm sure a lot of people out there. Yes, indeed, though, some very severe weather on the eastern portions of over the eastern portions of the country. And we'll show you some pictures of that in a little bit. Right now, though, let's go to our statistics page for the Portland metropolitan area, and you can see our record high for this date, 58 degrees, set back in 1956. Our high this afternoon was 46 degrees, not too bad for this time of the year. Last night's low, 38 degrees, record 14, and sunrise tomorrow morning, 7:43, and the sun will set tomorrow afternoon at 4:27. Moving on to precipitation, 3/100 of an inch of rainfall occurred at the Portland Airport in the 24-hour period ending at 4 o'clock this afternoon. For December, well, that should be a plus 48/100 of an inch, and we are 32/100 of an inch below normal for the season at 10.11. Freezing level over Salem this afternoon, 3,500 feet. Well, current conditions at the Portland Airport, skies are mostly cloudy, but there's a break or two in the overcast with a temperature of 40 degrees. Barometer fairly high on the dial, 30.44. Relative humidity at 92%. Winds are out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. Elsewhere around the Pacific Northwest at this hour, well, temperatures mostly in the 40s in the central and southern Willamette Valley. 43 degrees, though, down on the southern Oregon coast of North Bend. 41 up in Astoria. 34 degrees in Olympia at this hour. Fairly cool there. And east of the Cascades with some of the clearing, fairly chilly. Yakima, only 12 degrees, 22 in the Bend-Redmond area, 34 degrees this hour in Pendleton. Checking today's highs, 46 degrees was the high this afternoon once again at the Portland Airport, 49 in Salem, a degree warmer down in Eugene today, one of the warmer locations in the state, 52 degrees down in Brookings today. Cooler to the north, of course, only 32 in Wenatchee, 30 in Spokane this afternoon, and 36 degrees the high today in Pendleton. Checking precipitation totals, not a lot occurred. Most of it last night and early this morning. Just over 1/10 of an inch at Astoria and 1/10 of an inch exactly at Tillamook today. 3/100 at the Portland Airport, 1/10 of an inch at Salem, and 4/100 down in Eugene, a trace in the Dalles, and also a trace in Baker City. Fairly scattered and fairly light once again. Here's weather around the nation. A little bit of activity down over portions of Arizona. Snow advisories over the northeast corner there. Another system moving up over the midsection of the country, and that's providing for some freezing rain and portions of snow over Nebraska and portions of Kansas, and the Dakotas have some areas of snow advisories out for tonight. But the big storm off the east coast, I'll step out of the picture here, and you can see the storm rotating out into the northeast corner of the country. It's called a northeaster because of the direction of the wind flow there. We'll take a look at some video now if we can, and quite a bit of snow was falling, as much as 3 feet of snow over portions of upper New York State over the last 24 hours. This storm continues to pump moisture in. It was rain yesterday over portions of most of New York. However, it did turn to snow today, and more snow is expected there for tonight. So some very, very severe winter weather in the northeast portion of the country. In fact, the blizzard warnings are up tonight on the Massachusetts coastline. So we will continue to see some more winter-like weather there until that storm actually does drift on out. We'll go on now to the, once again, the frontal system moving through the midsection of the country, actually developing as it moves on to the east, so that's going to be in store for the eastern portion of the nation later on this week. 51 the high today in Atlanta, 29 in Denver, Colorado, and 58 degrees down in Phoenix today. Fairly cool with the overcast there and the precipitation. Here's our satellite loop, and you can see most of the moisture going by to the north, thank goodness. And the ridge over the Pacific Northwest building just a little bit, actually just offshore. It's going to continue to push in, but we have a weak warm front right offshore.